So I'm sitting in the car and I'm not sitting in the car, I'm actually about to start driving, but I'm thinking about the popularity of metaphysics and how important that information is and how beautiful that information is. And I really do think it's like the basis of what every religious text is really trying to get across, is some form of metaphysics, right? Now, what is not being taught with the metaphysics? Like, I go on YouTube and it's like how to steer your way into abundance, how to change your life to be abundant, how to think abundantly, how to overcome your deepest traumas and fears. And like, hold on, so important to, and I don't see a lot of creators talking about how to apply that to your life, right? So I feel like I had like a quote unquote spiritual awakening in 2019. I started reading like The Science of the Mind and a lot of like Don Miguel Ruiz, like a lot of just very metaphysical, like kind of like the basics of metaphysical text. I feel like I was like reading and getting into, right? And the first thing I started changing was like I changed my diet. So like I was vegan. I no longer like classified myself as like a Christian. I started meditating a lot. I was really big on just like seeing the one and the all, things like that. Now, I think that's a beautiful foundation. Like, it was a beautiful reemergence into reality to just have fresh new eyes, right? So now I'm in a place where like a lot of that stuff is kind of like integrated into my thought system and beliefs. Like, those are my new beliefs, right? Like, I interact with the world in a way that is very metaphysical. I know that like how important my thoughts are. Like, that is how I operate in the world at a base level, right? So I am currently working on, especially like after my ADHD diagnosis, a sense of like shame, like in being in motherhood. Like, shame is a big thing that has like been built in my just reality. Like, I constantly feel like I'm either in trouble or I'm like not doing something right, or it's the end of the world. Like, there's so much pressure on things and things like that, right? So I lately have been trying to transmute that into, I know that the other side level, the next level to my level of wealth, comes with an identity shift that requires me to see myself and see the reality that I desire as something that can be accomplished as the person that I am and the life that I want to live, right? So for instance, a lot of people and I work around a lot of my clients for marketing are lawyers, doctors, right? So I'm around these people who make a lot of money. And so sometimes in my head, and my mom also works in medicine, right? And my family who, is more well off, or like preachers, like, they went to school. Like, it's a certain, they're real estate agents, it looks a certain way. The work looks a certain way. Where me as a creative, the work does not look the same as anybody that I really know up close. I have like some friends that are insanely successful in the creative industry, and I'm grateful for that, but it wasn't something that I was like raised in to know, right? So I am also pregnant, right? And in this time, I've had to find a lot of rest. So I'm coming to coping with my ADHD diagnosis, being that I am different. My mind, I'm not a great worker bee at all, right? And in the context of how I've been raised, especially being like the eldest daughter and things like that, if I do not work, if I rest too much, I am being lazy. Like, I feel like as a Black woman, there is a thought that has been ingrained in me that I must be moving in order to, what the hell are y'all doing? I must be moving, constantly moving in order to be successful. Like, if I'm resting, I am not successful. There is no such thing as rest equaling success. Like, you have to work, you have to grind, you have to hustle. And I think that's Black women, but I also just think that's the society that we live in today. Like, the 5 a.m., I'm at the gym, no fun, business. And while I think that works for some people, that does not work for everybody. Like, I have been my wealthiest. I feel like I have manifested my dream desires when I can just sit in the magnificence of the divinity of my existence. And this may not be for everyone. This may not be for everybody, because I could be speaking a whole bunch of gibberish to some people. But basically what I'm trying to say is that once you know the metaphysics, your thoughts, all these things, right? You have to then apply your own life, right? And so in those limiting thoughts that are actually like getting to you, that are actually inhibiting your success. For me, it is the thought that, oh, as a Black woman, I cannot rest. Like, if I'm sleeping too long, I cannot rest. So today I literally made myself get comfortable with being in bed. I wake up every morning and I'm like, oh, I should have got up earlier. Today I was like, no, I'm in the bed and I'm going to be okay. I'm going to sit here until I'm physically okay with being in the bed. And that shit made me sick. Like, it literally made me like want to cry. I was so uncomfortable in a way that like, I would have never thought this practice would have done that to me. You know what I'm saying? But it made me realize how ingrained the thought of productivity is in my mind, that I can be almost 6 months pregnant, a mom, a dancer, running a full-time business, a wife, and not feel like I can wake up at 8 and sit in my damn bed that I bought and that I like got money for, in the house that me and my husband pay for every month, that we furnish to our liking, that like I'm in the dream. But that's like a certain level of the dream. And I realize I cannot supersede this dream. Like, to supersede this dream, I have to assume another identity. And a lot of that identity is not resonant with the identity of lack, of stress, of, shame. Why am I ashamed of laying in the bed that I work so hard to pay for? Why is it so uncomfortable for me to rest? So I don't know who that's for. I just felt the need to share. But when you are embarking on these practices, when you are getting deeper into just the magic that we are as humans, spirits having this human experience, like the divinity of what it is to be alive, like while you are navigating that, like, and learning about that magic, apply. Like it runs so deep to the point where, like, I'm a firstborn daughter, my mom is a firstborn daughter, my grandmother's a firstborn daughter, I need to figure out my great grandmother's a first, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like that level of responsibility. So for me to be able to, that has been transcended across generations, for me to just lay in the bed, like I that's a generational curse. Like we keep talking about generational wealth, generational, lay in that bed so that your predecessors, no, so that your lineage and your legacy can lay in that bed and be okay and be rested and be creative and have freedom. Like that's freedom. Anyways, bye y'all.